Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Art of Creation Homestead. My name is Jason, and we're going to come out to the chicken coop today to have a little discussion.
Isn't that right, kiddos? Yeah, that's exactly right. Hey, Tootie. We'll talk about these girls right here.
See, these girls behind us, there are new chickens for this year, right? We have 8 chickens and a very chatty Tootie right below me. But we have 8 brand new ones over here. They're about 16, 17 weeks old at this point. And yeah, they probably are too old to be in that coop or be in that little cage, but there's a reason for it. I'm gonna stand up and come out here because Tootie kept pecking at my leg. See, the purpose of this cage is simply because it's a very delicate situation transitioning new chickens into an existing flock, especially when your existing flock is as close to each other and to us as our chickens are.
See, this is what we mean by close. This right here, she's so comfortable with us, extraordinarily comfortable. This one too.
Actually, all of them are, but we're very hands-on in their flock. Our flock knows us. They're up on us all the time. They communicate with us in their own way. I don't know what Tootie's trying to say now, except that, hey, I'm going to annoy you while you're trying to film a video. But so because they're close to each other, they're close to us, and there really is a chicken hierarchy called the pecking order. That's real, okay? And Tootie won't shut up, so I'm gonna walk out. So because pecking order is a real thing, and there's an established hierarchy, an established order with this flock. We have 16 older girls in here that range from 2 years old to 8 years old. And so there really is an alpha hen, okay? Because we don't have a rooster, first of all. You gotta remember that. We don't have a rooster. So there's an alpha hen and there's a beta hen. So 1, 2, right? And then there's a list that goes all the way down, basically. And then obviously the rest of them are gonna be somewhere kind of all together until you get to the bottom. Then you're gonna have the couple that are on the bottom that are not dominant over anybody. But because that order really exists and they really are comfortable with each other, and chickens really are obsessive compulsive. They like the same thing all the time. They like the order. They don't want things to change ever. So when you bring in new chickens to add to their flock, they do not like that. It messes with their minds, messes with their hierarchy, their pecking order, messes with how things go and the operation of their daily lives. And so therefore you can have some aggression towards the new ones. Okay, I'll tell you first of all that if you see a video, watch a video, or hear somebody say that to mix your flocks, to mix these chickens, these young pullets to an existing flock, just take them out there at night, put them on the roost, and when they wake up, they won't remember anything from the day before, and they'll all think that these chickens belong there. That's false. It's just not true. Okay, it's easier to move them at night because chickens are more sedated in the dark, but they remember their flock mates. They know who's there. All right, these chickens know each other. There's a hierarchy there. There's a pecking order there. They have bonds and friendships and enemies, you know, within the flock. And so if they remember, they'll know if there's 8 new pullets in there with them tomorrow. They will know. Okay, they're not as dumb as people say they are. Now look, if you have a rooster, it's not going to be the same. Okay, this is how things are operating for us with no rooster. If you have a rooster, he's going to be dominant, and he's going to provide his own set of circumstances that you're going to want to foster and maneuver around and things like that. But this is totally different for existing flock of just hens. You see, what's going to happen if you have a rooster is that he's going to want to show his dominance by mating these girls, and even he don't care if they're ready or not, if they're big enough or not. He's going to want to mount them to mate them. And like this one right here, she's way too small to be mounted by most roosters. We had a rooster one time. He was a big, massive rooster. If he tried to mount her, he would probably kill her. Okay, so that's what you deal with the roosters. They have to be physically able to handle that before they get put in with a rooster, and that's going to be your largest issues there. Even though there is still hen hierarchy and things of that nature, rooster's going to provide your biggest troubles if you have an established flock with a rooster. Since we do not, these are the things we will face.
This girl is second in command. This girl's one of the lowest, and same as this one right here.
So the troubles we will face is those 3: your number two man, and your lowest 2 on the totem pole. They will be the ones that are the most aggressive. Okay. Number two, only because they don't want anybody to take their place in the hierarchy. Number one will not be. She's very confident in where she is, very strong. She's and in our flock, she's an 8-year-old Jersey Black Giant who is very good with them, who will only try to lead by example and help get them acquainted with the flock, because she's not worried about it. She's strong, she's secure in her position. Number two, not so much. And the lowest two, they don't want to be the lowest two anymore, so they want to make sure that they're above these other ones and make sure they know, hey kid, you're not like us, right? So that's going to be the issues you face. And if you're not sure which ones in your flock are lead or bottom or second, whatever, then when you start trying to release the chickens, you'll know, because they'll show. Like, see, like right now, Bella right here, she stays right by them this whole time and trying to intimidate them. She's trying to intimidate them this entire time. Now let's see what happens when I try to let them out for some time to get used to the flock. Go on, kids, you want out? Now this one here, this blue one, she is the leader of this little eight chicken flock. But now they're a little timid, obviously, but they need to get used to this. You're not gonna cause any problems, are you, Sweetness? No. But now watch. This one right here, she's gonna keep herself close. And they're scared to come out because they know what's going on here. Now you see, it's been about a minute or so, and they're still pretty timid on coming out. This door's wide open, but they're scared to come out. Now if she comes out, they'll follow. But this is why you got to give them plenty of chance to get used to this dynamic, because they've got to be able to come out and be one with this flock. And now you do see right here who's coming around. She's gonna keep herself. She might even go in there, try to press them and attack them in there, because she's trying to make sure they know she's over them, and that nobody gets a wild hair and tries to overtake her spot. And honestly, this one right here, she'll do whatever that one does. She'll follow along whatever she does. Once is Sophia. Now you see, here we go, a couple minutes in, and she's gonna try and go in there. And Sweetness is gonna peck the camera. Bella, be nice. And see, they're so timid still. This is why it's very important about taking the time to get them used to each other, because now they're timid, but they've got to become one with this flock. There's no other options. There's no other options, so they got to get used to it. Now here you go. See, she'll try and go in there. Bella, be nice. And they've got to get used to this. We're worried about Bella harming them, but we've got to get them used to each other. So I'm going to let Bella stand there for just a minute. Okay, come on out, good girl. Now, rather than sticking with this idea, I'm going to kind of let them settle down. But I will tell you that the reason why you got to make sure and kind of control this thing, especially with this very tight-knit backyard flock, is that if you're not aware of this, chickens are like one of the closest things to dinosaurs we still have on the earth, okay? And they're bloodthirsty. Like it or not, that's just the reality of the situation, is they're bloodthirsty, and you need to make sure that they're not harming each other. Because if we let them out and say, okay, we throw them in there and just try to mix them in and make them deal with it, and Bella or one of the other two lower ones goes along and hurts one of the younger ones, makes them bleed, then all of a sudden chickens see that blood, they go after it, and they will kill that bird in no time. All right, that's the violence. That's the violence of the nature of a chicken, is that they will kill a bird just because they're going after the blood. They're bloodthirsty, and so they see that blood, they'll keep pecking, and they'll peck it to death. That's beyond being honest. And you'll have a dead bird out here, and that's something you want to try to avoid, right? Nobody wants to come out here and see a bloody dead chicken. Never. So that's one of the things you're trying to avoid, and that's why we're so maybe overly cautious, honestly, but you got to be a little overly cautious, because you got to prepare for any scenario that could possibly happen. Maybe it won't happen, but it very easily could happen. I do also want to mention that if you're in this situation with birds, like, and you got some some pullets. That's what a young hen is. It's a pullet. Okay, if you have some pullets coming up and they're at 16 weeks old, you need to make sure that you're giving them regular layer feed. Okay, get them off the starter feed, off the grower feed, whatever you may be giving them, and give them regular 16-17% layer feed at that point, because that's what they're going to need to start developing their reproductive system at an appropriate rate, and to prepare them to lay eggs, because they can start laying eggs, honestly, some at 16 weeks, that's rare, but or 18 weeks, that's rare, but 20 weeks and on, 20 weeks old and on, it's really when you start looking for them to lay eggs. And we have a video out there called when is my hen gonna lay an egg, or something of that nature, that we will link in the description here if we can remember, and that'll kind of give you an idea of what to look for when they're going to lay. But this is just transitioning them in. But part of that transition period is also getting them off of starter grower feed and onto regular layer feed. Another thing that we do to help bring this process along is we let the chickens out in the yard in a controlled environment for about 45 minutes to an hour every evening if we can, and so now it's more space, right? You get more space, and now we've started letting the little ones out into the coop to let them get used to the coop in this run. But then also we'll open that door up and let them out in the yard, and there's a larger space, right? More space here for them all to get acquainted with each other. So more space means it's less likely to have those interactions that are violent, and also it's controlled with air, and we're noticing it. We're ready to stop it if something happens. But they've got to get used to each other, because the cohesiveness of a flock is very important. It's very delicate, and these chickens, they're very serious about it. Okay, so again, remember those things. So thank you guys so much for watching. We do appreciate it. My name is Jason. This is Art of Creation Homestead. We love y'all. God bless you, and goodbye.